Have you ever wondered why you are always on a tight budget, a really concrete budget, but you always find yourself broke? So in this video, I'm going to be talking about 10 common budgeting traps that are costing you hundreds. You are relying too heavily on budgeting apps. Don't get me wrong, budgeting apps are really great, and that's the digital way to go. But sometimes these budgeting apps usually have hidden costs you have to pay for. They have subscriptions that you have to pay for, and another thing is that they can't fix your mindset, or your impulses. That's why I'm saying it costs you hundreds, because you might not realize this, but you might be paying for the apps that you're using. And the other thing is that they can't fix how you spend your money. Instead of you being mindful about how you spend your money, the apps do all the thinking for you, and this actually makes you be less mindful about what you spend your money on, because there's an app, I'll do this and this, and there's an app, and sometimes this can get crazy. Before you realize it, before you know it, it's too late. You have been spending over hundreds on that app. Another thing that is costing you hundreds when it comes to budgeting traps is that you always budget your money based on the net income, but not take home pay, something like that. So you forget to deduct your taxes, your insurances, maybe your retirement funds. You forget to deduct those, and you use the net income. This actually makes you think that, man, I have lots of money and my budgeting is just going to work out really well. But without knowing, after the deductions have just happened, you have less money than the one you budget for. So you find yourself overspending. You spend on things that actually aren't there, and after the end of your budget, after the end of the month, you realize that you have debts that you have to take care of. And this is why I'm telling you, it costs you hundreds, because if this goes on like this, in about 2 to 3 months, you'd have more than $200 to pay for. And this is really bad. Another common budgeting trap that is costing you hundreds is not comparing the prices of the things you want to buy. Sometimes it's always smart, before you buy something, go on, maybe let me check on a certain site. Maybe let me say you want to check something you want to purchase on Amazon, and after that, go again and check the same thing on Walmart. Go again and check the price of the same thing in another, maybe eBay, something like that. The moment you do this, you actually get a humble time to compare prices, and you actually eventually end up finding out there's actually something else that you can buy at a really lower price. Maybe the same thing you wanted to buy, but maybe you might find other versions of it at a lower price. So when you actually you are buying something, don't just rush on making purchases without making comparison of the prices in different sites. Especially nowadays, we do lots of shoppings online, so it's always a great idea to compare the prices. And this will help you, because you are going to find that maybe you might end up saving more than just $50 on the same thing you wanted to buy for about $150. Something that is going to make it harder for you to compare these prices are the impulses, the rush. When you have your money in, you're just thinking of just going and making that purchases without making a decision about it, without thinking about it. And that's why I always say, sometimes if you want to make so many purchases or one big purchase, always take your time. Take your time, think about it, maybe sleep on the big purchases 24 hours minimum, and think about it. Don't just shop without a plan, because if you shop without a plan, you're not going to compare the prices of the things you want to buy, and you're also going to find yourself paying more on things that you're supposed to pay less. So sometimes just be smart. Don't just jump on purchases without thinking, without sleeping on it. This is something is something you might be doing, it's costing you hundreds. Another common budgeting trap that is costing you hundreds is actually forgetting to cancel the free trials. Maybe you're browsing somewhere, you saw something really interesting about maybe a magazine that you really love, or maybe that Netflix subscription, or maybe that maybe you purchased a domain somewhere. You wanted to build a site, you purchased a domain somewhere, and you forgot to cancel maybe the free trial on that. The renewal are usually much more expensive. So if you have a free trial, maybe let me say on a magazine, especially on something like a magazine, or maybe some newsletters that you usually pay for to get some content from them, make sure you always cancel them, because if you forget to cancel those in a month, it might be maybe a few dollars, maybe $5 and there, but you might find that it's costing you even more, because it keeps on recurring. It's going to renew itself every single month, and at the end of the year, maybe it have costed you maybe more than $1,000 on a simple subscription that you forgot to cancel. So always check up your free trials and make sure you cancel them before their time runs out. So after the free trial, I have just been reminded of something else: not reviewing your subscriptions. You have to review your subscription. Maybe you subscribed on something, sometimes we might be browsing in lots of sites, especially online, if you're a guy or if you're a woman who likes to check things online, and you are paying for subscriptions on different things, and it comes by a time whereby you're not using them because they're not that important right now. Things are changing, you have forgotten to review the subscriptions, and you keep on paying for them without even using them, because this happens because the auto renewal thing that I just talked about on the free trials, but this, you've paid for it, so it's going to renew itself every month, and you might find yourself that you are spending your money on things that you're actually not using, so it's costing you hundreds without you even realizing it. So take your time, always review your subscription, revisit them, and check the ones that you are not using and cancel them, because that is costing you hundreds without you knowing. Another common budgeting trap that is costing you hundreds is actually assuming that a budget is one-time thing. You make your budget, it's a really good one, a solid one, and you spend about like 2 to 3 months without even revisiting the budget. As I told you earlier, things change, so you need to take your time and review your budget so that you tweak things, take out expenses that you actually don't need. So try to revisit your budget once in a while, because you might actually be paying for things that you really don't want, and that is costing you hundreds. Another common budgeting trap that is costing you hundreds is actually falling for sales that you didn't budget for. I'm guilty of this, guys. I can't lie. Sometimes there's something you wanted to buy so bad online. Maybe you saw it somewhere. Maybe it's a domain. Maybe it's a bag. Maybe it's that cute bottle you saw somewhere you wanted to buy. Maybe it was priced at about 150 USD. And later on, you find that maybe it's slashed to 40% off. And you wanted this thing so bad. Now that you think, oh man, since the price is reduced, I'm just going to buy it. Man, you're buying it, you end up buying it because you just make that irrational decision without thinking. You end up buying it, you feel, yeah, I bought it. And at the end of the day, you're thinking, man, what did I do? I spent money on something that I didn't even plan. Yeah, I agree with you, it was 40% off, but you actually didn't budget for that thing. So you find that you spent money on something that you didn't plan for. So this is really costing you things. You have to take note of that and try to rectify this, because it's costing you hundreds. Another common budgeting trap that you're making that is costing you hundreds, if you didn't know, is actually avoiding budgeting. You avoid to budget simply because it feels overwhelming for you. You have so many expenses to take care of, you have so many things, you have so many bills you have to pay, and you think, oh man, it's going to be really overwhelming for me to classify all these needs, all these wants, planning to plan also about my savings and whatnot. Guys, you're avoiding budgeting simply because it just seems scary for you. Trust me, it's uncomfortable looking at your money, but ignoring budgeting makes it worse, because you're going to find yourself overspending on things that you actually didn't need, and it's going to cost you hundreds. So it doesn't matter how your budget seems. Always budget, always keep on budgeting, no matter how overwhelming it is. Sometimes I usually think to myself, man, it's going to be really, really tough. It's really going to be uncomfortable looking at my income and checking out all these expenses I have to take care of. It's overwhelming. Sometimes it can feel even stressing and draining, but you just have to do it, because that is what is going to keep you on the track of ensuring that you don't spend money on things that you don't need. Another common budgeting trap that is costing you hundreds is actually skipping the sinking funds. Okay, the car repairs, the holidays, the surprises you want to make, those are not usually surprises. You know of those, but you just skip them. And when they come at a time, you find yourself spending more than 50 bucks, more than 100 bucks on something that you didn't even budget for. So when you skip this, at the end of the day, you're going to realize that you have been spending money on other things that are not in your budget. And this one is ruining your entire budget, and it's costing you. And it's another one common mistake people usually makes when budgeting. So don't skip the sinking funds. You know, if you have something that you know you have to take care of in maybe 5 to 6 months coming from now, start budgeting for it, start saving for it, and that one is going to help you ensuring that your budget is very secure. Another common budgeting mistake, and it's a trap that is costing you hundreds, is actually copying someone else's budget. The budget that is working for me is not actually going to work for you. So don't copy someone else's budget thinking that we usually spend the same money, because we, you know, sometimes maybe we might be with your friends and think, oh, maybe we are earning at the same rate, we have the same income, so I can just copy your budget. No, things don't work like that. So always make your own budget. Stop copying someone else's budget, because this one is costing you hundreds. Because the things that I do need, they're actually not the things that you do need. So guys, if the points hit home for you, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, share the video to other people who might be interested to watch this. And this YouTube channel is all about finance right now. So hopefully you are going to fix those mistakes, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye bye. Peace.